Welcome to our live streaming guide. Today, I'm going to walk you step by step through how we do one of our favorite forms of content, which is live streaming. Now, if you're new here, if you don't know who I am, my name is James Pruitt, and I am a YouTuber. I have multiple YouTube channels myself, and I help small YouTubers build their channel, optimize it for successful growth, and create engagement with their audience. And today, I wanted to talk to you about how to start live streaming and how to start getting out there and sharing your message with the world. Now, this is not going to be a step-by-step tutorial on the technical aspects of setting up a live stream. I actually have a full 3-part video series that walks you through StreamYard, which is our preferred favorite way of live streaming. That's what we're using right now. And I have my other branding up there. I have my display name from my other channel. Storage Scavenger is actually one of my other channels, and that's where I clean out abandoned storage units and we resell the stuff we find right through our YouTube channel. And so we've been on YouTube off and on for about 10 years. And one of my favorite things to do is just press live, go live, share our message with the world. And so I wanted to create a guide, though, to help people get started with understanding the process of setting up a live stream and how to actually format your live stream and how to get replay value out of your live streams. This is one of the biggest things. A lot of people talk about, they go live and they get a lot of engagement during the live streams, but people don't watch it much on the replay. They get a high drop-off rate. If you notice, if you paid attention to how we did our live streams, how we start our live streams, how we run our live streams, it's very intentional and it's very structured in how we do it. And I do a lot of work to get better replay value out of my live streams. Some of my most popular content replay on the videos after the fact are my live streams. And part of it's because of the way we've structured the content. And it's not just a free-for-all. It's not just random acts of content. That's one of the worst things you can do on your YouTube channel that's going to hurt your growth is random acts of content. So you want to make sure that you're structuring it in a way that's going to bring the replay value and it's going to help people continue watching it. You want to structure it in a way that it's good for the people watching the live stream and they're engaged, but it's also structured in a way that people that are watching on the replay are getting value and are able to follow along and being able to utilize what you're sharing with people. So thank you guys so much for showing up, for joining us on the live today. If you are here in the chat, let me know, have you started live streaming yet? Yes or no in the chat. Let me know. If you're new here watching this on the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know, have you started live streaming and are you trying to figure out a process to get better replay value out of your live streams after they're done? Leave me a comment below and let me know what your experience is with that. I want to know how people feel about it. One of the things that I've been doing since I started live streaming, when I first started, it was kind of random. And I would start my live stream and I would wait for people to show up. And sometimes it would take 5 or 10 minutes for people to start getting those notifications and showing up in my stream. And sometimes it would be, I might even only have 1 or 2 people. I did a live stream just a couple of days ago. I had 2 people show up in my live stream. And so it was on a smaller channel. It was the very first time I'd done a live stream on that particular channel. And it was late at night. It was like midnight. But I was okay with that. One of the things that I look at when I'm doing a live stream is I'm not thinking about, just what's going on during the live. When I started this stream, I hit live and I immediately started going into my presentation. I didn't wait for people to show up. I didn't give it, 5 or 10 minutes for people to come in or out. I immediately went into the presentation the second I hit live. And that's important with the structure of your live stream. Remember, just on YouTube, you have about 30 seconds to get people's attention Get them what they're wanting and get them to listen and stick around for what you're going to say on the replay or during the live. So you've got to grab people's attention when they first come in. You've got to give them a hook and a reason to watch. And that reason to watch is based on the keywords that you use. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to plan. I have a 5-step kind of process that I use on every piece of content that I put out. And it starts with a P. It starts with a plan. We don't just randomly create content. And we start that plan. Let me show you right here. One of the first things that we do is we go, let me see if I can find it here. So we are going to share our screen. Oh, that's the wrong one. And we start right here. This is Tubebuddy. It's the #1 platform for researching and understanding your niche, I think, online. There's several others. There's vidIQ, which I use a little bit. I use the free version. There's Morning Fame. There's a few others out there, but I personally prefer Tubebuddy. I've been using Tubebuddy for several months. I used the free version for over a year before I upgraded to the paid version. And the biggest wish I had was that I had upgraded sooner. It's been such a huge impact to my channel. So I can go right here and I can say, just type in here, how to live stream, for example, and it's going to show me, okay, this is poor overall score. It's got some good search volume, but have a competition in this weighted score is something you get with the free version. If you're on the free version, you're going to get the unweighted score, and you notice it goes up, but this is not comparing it to my own channel. When I hit the weighted, this is going to compare it with my channel. Of course, my numbers are fairly low because this is a fairly new channel, and I don't have a huge following, and I don't get a ton of views on my videos yet. But you can see the average channels get about 52,000 views on their videos to rank for that keyword. So I'm probably not going to have much of a chance to rank for that particular keyword for my live stream. So I want to find something with less competition. So we just keep working. Sometimes I spend 3 or 4 hours here in Tubebuddy going through researching keywords to find the right keyword that has competition that I have a chance of ranking for in search. Search rankings is one of the most important things you can do to get more engagement with your live streams. And I recommend using a tool like TubeBuddy, vidIQ, Morning Fame. They all kind of work. They look at different metrics, but they all somewhat look similarly. They're kind of scoring your potential to rank. So good morning, Westside Gary. Hope you're doing fantastic this morning. Thank you for joining us. So we're talking about live streaming and how to set up your streams for success. So, if you want to do live streams, say, for example, so people are watching my Storage Scavenger channel have seen, I'm doing things like I just did a dollar auction. Well, the reason why was because of keyword research. I went and did some research using TubeBuddy. I found that people were looking for $1 auctions on YouTube. So I optimized my channel for it, and I ran my entire auction based on the fact that it was $1 auctions. And that so we started all bids at $1, no matter what the lot was, what the items were, and we sold some items for $1 that were worth a whole lot more than that. But we sold some stuff. We got some good people because we were able to get some good optimization. We were able to get some more people in. We had people come in that had never heard of me before, that found me through search, that found me through recommended on other people's content. This is why keywords are important, because keywords are what's going to tell YouTube who to recommend it to in recommended content. It's going to tell YouTube where to place your videos in search, whether it's a video, a live stream. It doesn't matter on that. That's why keyword research is important, is because it's going to help tell YouTube who to share your content with so that they can come and see your content. Remember, if you're not growing, you're not going anywhere. You're not moving forward. So you have to always be growing. And that means you've got to get your content in front of people that have never heard of you before. The best way to do that is showing up in recommended content under next to other people's videos and showing up in YouTube search. And I see a lot of people, especially, I started in the reselling community a year ago, and a lot of the people in the reselling community, they're not doing keyword research. A lot of their videos, if you look at their videos, a lot of their videos are not well optimized to show up for specific search terms. So that's something you've got to pay attention to. And that's going to differentiate you from the other channels that aren't doing that. And it's going to give you a greater chance of showing up for the audience and getting more people coming into your auctions, coming into your live streams. I run a couple of different types of live streams. I run live stream auctions, which don't get a ton of replay value, although for some reason, a lot of my auctions do get a lot of replays. I sometimes get more traffic on the replays on my auctions than I got during the actual auction itself. I even get emails after the fact from people that were watching a replay on an auction that I found through search. And then they're emailing me saying, hey, is this item still available? And sometimes it was an item that was shown an hour and a half, 2 hours into my auction, which means people are coming in, they're finding me through search, and they're watching 2 hours of an auction, watching me sell stuff that's already long gone. But then they're emailing me saying, hey, I saw this item on this video. Is it still available? So I know people are finding the stuff that I have, and sometimes it is. And I've actually made several sales after an auction through people emailing me after an auction. If you see something at one of my auctions, if you see something on one of my replays, email me about it. If I still have it, I'll sell it. We do it. We do it all the time. I have people leaving me comments. Hey, I saw this item up for sale. I'd like to get it. And so we do that. So that's something that we do to get more replay value. But if we weren't setting up our eBays when we first started, we weren't doing all this. And most of my auctions, once the auction was over, that was it. Nobody else ever saw it because we weren't doing this SEO. We were doing the keywords. We weren't setting it up. So the first thing is to have a plan. What is the purpose of your live stream? Is it to do an auction to sell stuff? Is it going to be to teach something like this one right here? My goal for today's video is to teach you how to structure your live streams so that you can get good engagement during the stream, but it's also set up for proper replay value. That's the goal of today's video. So I have a goal for that. And if you are interested in going deeper into this, or if you are liking what we're talking about, make sure you click the subscribe button and subscribe to our channel if you're new here. And what we want to do, though, is we want more people coming by, seeing our live streams. One of the things that I'm doing as I do the plan is I'm trying to plan them out. Like, for example, this live stream I do every Friday between 9:30 and 10 my time, which is Central Time, every Friday. And there's personal things that depend that adjust what time exactly I do that. But one, it gives me a set time to do my live streams. So I have a set schedule every Friday, and I've already this Friday. Are you doing your live this Friday? Because people are already starting to get used to this. Is only my 5th live stream on this channel, and I'm already getting people used to my Friday morning live streams. So as you get people trained, as you build your audience, you train them to know that you're going to do lives at a certain time. Nick Nimmin, he does this every Saturday morning. He goes live and does a Q&A every single Saturday morning, and he's only missed like maybe 2 or 3 in the last year that I know of since I've been following him. And that's important. You got to stay on that schedule. Now, sometimes life happens. There's things happen and you're going to miss a live stream. But when you know you're going to be doing that live stream, then you can be planning ahead and you can set them up ahead. And that's where I was going to go with this. When you're doing that plan, you want to think about, what am I going to do in the next live? And as far ahead of schedule as you can, and then you can schedule those lives. Well, I've had live streams. This is something with doing the search engine optimization. Chuck, you got 100 subs now, so now you're already kind of a big deal. Well, that's great, Chuck. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for coming in. So one of the things that we're doing though is we're talking about setting up your live streams ahead of time. So I know a lot of people that set up their live stream the day before, or even just a couple of hours before the live stream. And one of the things I've been testing myself is setting them up days or even a week ahead of time. And one of the things I found through doing that is before I even have the content, if I do the SEO properly, if I do the optimization by putting those keywords in my title, my description, I get a good compelling thumbnail that gets people's attention. I can get my live streams ranking in search before the live stream happens. So without even having the content yet, all it is that set reminder with my thumbnail. I can get people coming to my channel before the live stream even happens. And that's important because then as soon as your live stream's over, you're already ranking in search. So when the content is there, more people can find your content immediately after the live stream. That's a huge, huge benefit to getting ahead of the traffic. And especially if you know something. Now, sometimes things happen that are unexpected. YouTube changed the terms of service just a couple of weeks ago. We did a live stream on it. I didn't have a week to get it ranking in search, but that's one of the most popular videos on this channel. And part of it's because I already had this plan and this structure in place. So as soon as we were able to do things, as soon as I knew what was going on, as soon as I knew about the live stream, we were able to get it scheduled out. We did a lot of sharing. It was hot trending topic in the niche. So it got a lot of push. And I got it out there as quickly as I could right afterwards. And so, good morning, Adrian. For those of y'all that don't know, my good friend, Adrian Smith, she hit her 1,000 subscribers. She had one of her shorts blow up a couple of days ago and pushed her over 1,000 subscribers. She's just blowing YouTube out of the water right now. So, congratulations, Adrian. She's only been on, she started on YouTube in August, y'all, and she's already got her first 1,000 subscribers. And I'm seeing more and more channels that are doing that right now because they're just hitting things. Part of it's timing, because with people still on lockdown, with the way the world has been this year, there's a lot more eyeballs on YouTube. But part of it's the shorts feature is blowing up a lot of channels. And she's just really engaging, and she's got some really great content. Yeah, be cautiously optimistic. One of the things that we have found, just off topic slightly for just a second, one of the things we have found is that the shorts viewers and subscribers are not converting very well. But if you can get 5 to 10% of those watchers on your shorts to convert to watching your long form content, that's still going to be a lot of people when you're having 50,000 views on a single short. 50,000 people, if I had 10% of those people watch my long form content, that's a pretty big boost to my traffic. So yeah, they come and go. Once you start doing the long form content, you'll lose a bunch of them. So, but just try to keep what you can out of them, and just keep putting out your content. Keep doing it, and it'll keep growing. So, but one of the things that we want to do is we're structuring these live streams. We have that plan. We know exactly what our goals are. So I have goals for this live stream. I have goals for every live stream I do. And then I plan it out, and I practice. The reason I'm able to sit here and talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours is because I've spent the last week practicing what I'm going to talk about. It's not just that I hit live and I just sit here and I stare at the camera. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Let's just talk about whatever random stuff comes up in the chat. Those kind of live streams, you're going to start losing people as soon as they come in. But instead, you come in and you have a plan. Even if that plan is just, okay, for the first 10 minutes of the live stream, we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to open it up for questions and answers with the chat. You can do that. But if you still have that structure, at least in the opening portion of your live live stream, you can get people hooked in and get people invested in watching what you have to say and learning from you. This is something we do. This is why with my Storage Scavenger channel a few months ago, people that watch my live streams, we used to just do a random live stream every Tuesday. We've been going live, but we used to just kind of do a random chit chat with our audience live stream. And a couple of months ago, we started testing putting more structure into our live stream. So we started teaching. We would open the live stream. The first 15 to 20 minutes, we talk about our reselling business, and we talk about things that we've learned and some of the mistakes that we've made and some of the things we've done to overcome those mistakes for about the first 15 to 20 minutes. And then we go into questions and answers with our audience. And since we started doing that, the replay value on our channel has not just gone up a little bit, it's skyrocketed. Those videos have gone from getting maybe 20 or 30 views to where now they're getting 3 or 4 or 5 or 600 views on them. And a lot of those are coming on the replay, not during the actual live stream itself. So that's one of the things you want to do. When you add more structure to your live stream, it amplifies. One, it's going to help it show up in search more. It's going to get recommended to more people. And it's going to help keep people engaged. One of the number one things that YouTube is looking at when they're recommending content is watch time. How many people are staying and watching your content? If they're coming in and they're watching 30 seconds to a minute and then they're bouncing and leaving, that hurts your video. And that hurts your live streams. So this is why a lot of live streams fail, because they don't have a structure, they don't have a plan in place. So they come into their live stream and they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the audience to show up. If you notice, if you go back, and those of you that just came in, go back and watch the replay. The second I hit live on this live stream, I started talking and I started sharing and I started teaching, because I had that structured plan in place of what I was going to talk about. So this is why we have the replay value we have, because as soon as I hit live, I'm talking. And the very first thing I do is my hook includes that keyword phrase that we were targeting in our title, in our thumbnail. The hook, the title, and the thumbnail should all work together. And this is on every piece of content, but for your live streams, especially if you want people to sit for an hour, 2, 3 hours. I've seen some live streams that keep people engaged for 6 hours. This weekend, we did a 12-hour live stream, and we had some people coming and going, but we kept them maintained a balance of about 20 to 30 people for 12 hours. And I had a few times it spiked up. I had one time that we had almost 50 people in the live, in the chat. And those aren't huge numbers, but it's a fairly small channel. And the reason why, though, we were able to keep that consistency was because we were drawing people in. We were keeping them entertained. We were keeping them engaged with what we were doing. We were talking almost nonstop. And we brought other people on the panel, so we had conversations going on, and it was a lot easier. Yeah, it's hard when you first hit live. But again, when you have this structure in place, when you have at least a plan, again, the plan doesn't even have to take up the whole live stream. But if you have a plan that lasts 15, 20, 30 minutes, then that, as soon as you hit live, you're talking, because you've already planned it. You've already rehearsed. This is what I'm going to use for my hook. This is what we're going to talk about. I've rehearsed what I'm going to talk about for the last several days. And when you're doing daily live streams, this becomes really, really difficult. You can't do it days in advance. But when you're doing a weekly live stream like I do, I can plan it out and preparation for the live stream. That I'm practicing what I'm going to do. That means I'm preparing, I'm doing the research, I'm looking at what the other channels are doing. For example, with my live streams, I did so many live streams over the last year and a half. I can tell you how to do these live streams right off the bat. And again, if you're new, if you're just coming in, I'm not going into the technical aspects of how to set up a live stream, but I do have a step-by-step walkthrough on how to set up StreamYard, how to do all the technical stuff in StreamYard. I have a 3-part video series on that, so make sure you check out our playlists and watch our StreamYard playlist on how to set up your live streams if you want to get started. But to get started, you got to have the plan. Then you start preparing by this is where we create our outline. We take that plan and we dive into, okay, what are we going to teach? What is it that people really have to go? Part of that preparation is doing some research into the questions people are asking about our topic. Today's topic is live streaming. I've spent several days digging through comments on other people's channels about live streaming, going to other live streaming channels and listening in on the chats and participating in the chats. You know, a lot of people think that I go to all the other channels and I hang out in the chats because I want viewers to come to my channel. And I do get some subscribers, I do get some viewers from doing that. But part of the reason why I do that is because I'm paying attention to what people are talking about in the chat. I'm reading. I learn. One, I'm learning, but two, I'm also writing down questions that people ask in the chat that the channel owners aren't answering. And that's how I come up with a lot of my content ideas. And whenever I'm on a live stream about live streaming and people are asking questions that the channel owners aren't answering, and I'm preparing a live stream on live streaming, I can put those questions into the plan of what I'm doing for this live stream as part of the preparation phase. I go through that. I also practice. I talked about this just a few minutes ago, but I practice what I'm going to say. And I practice how I'm going to say it. Now, it's not written and I don't have a script. I've tried doing scripted videos. I've tried doing scripted content and it just sounds like I'm reading a book and it doesn't seem natural to me. So, but I still practice clarifying in my mind what I want to talk about. And I practice clarifying how I'm going to deliver the content for the live stream, how I'm going to deliver things and deliver the message. Whenever I do that, then now I've got a structure and that helps me clarify the structure so that when I hit live, I can immediately get started. Even if there's nobody in the chat, I can get started and I keep things going. That's how I did this one. I did one the other night at midnight on my other channel, and I have been preparing for that live stream for a week. And it was something that I've been working on for 10 years. It's something I knew very, very well, but I still specifically prepared for that particular live stream for a week before I did it. The practice is why I'm able to make it look so natural. My brain does work that way, and there's some things I know them so well, and I've done them so many times, I can just hit live and talk about them. And I love having conversations with people about these things. And that's what it's for me. It's just about having a conversation with the people that are coming. And when we're doing Q&A, you have to know your stuff well enough to be able to do that because you never know what questions are going to pop up. But when you're doing the structured section of your live stream, you can prepare and practice and plan. Then you have to perform. You have to show up and you have to give the live stream. And that's number one. Once you start doing your live stream right from the start, you're presenting, you're performing what you practiced and you're sharing. And you have to be willing to do things that are going to get people's attention. You have to, wake people up sometimes because sometimes like during our auctions, we sometimes do some silly things to get people to wake up because we had an auction a few months ago. I was with Maricha over at the Junking Data Girl, and the chat was kind of sluggish. There wasn't a whole lot of conversations going on. There wasn't a whole lot of people talking, and there wasn't a whole lot of bids coming in on the stuff that we were trying to sell. And so while somebody else was selling, I had this little tiara sitting over here on my desk that I sorted out of some stuff in a storage unit. And so I grabbed it and I put it on my head. I was showing some girly kind of stuff in the next couple of lots anyway, so I put it on my head. And when it got back to me, I'm sitting here with this tiara on my head. That got people's attention. That got people talking. And Jessica hates it. She thinks it's too girly and people are going to think I'm gay. And so I don't care if they think I'm gay or not. I know I'm not, and that's what's important. But it was something are you willing to play the fool for your audience to get people engaged? Are you willing to do something that's outrageous, something that's weird, something that's off the wall to get people's attention, to get people paying attention to what you're talking about and what you're doing? That's some of the things that I do during my performance. And that one, I mean, it just happened. And guess what? That happened like 2 or 3 months ago. I still have people coming to my live streams asking me where my tiara is. I still have people asking me, coming into my live streams, because I became known for that. Not only did it get people engaged, it got people sharing the live stream. Hey, y'all got to come check out what James is doing. This guy's going crazy over here. He's off the wall. I had people recording it. I had other people sharing clips of it on their own videos on their other channel. I did it a couple of times in my own auctions just to kind of keep people, because people were asking for it. So I started doing it. Jessica finally got mad about it, and she took the tiara away so that I couldn't do it anymore because she got offended by it. But what are you willing to do to get your audience's attention? What are you willing to do if you have a sluggish chat, if you're not getting the interaction that you want? What are you willing to do to play the fool to get that interaction, to get that attention? I do that. And I do that intentionally. It wasn't planned, but it's intentional in that I'm always looking at, okay, how can we get things moving? I'm always thinking about that, even while I'm in the middle of doing the live stream. You can get a lot of replay value, because one of the things that's going to help YouTube decide whether or not to share your video on the replay is the actual interaction you're getting during the actual live. So if you're getting a lot of chat, if you're getting a lot of people on the live stream sharing the video with other people, getting other people to come talk about it, if you get other people shouting out your video and sending other people to your videos, if you get a lot of people that are a lot of engagement with the actual chat, which is why Q&As do so well once you get into the Q&A portion, because you get that engagement with the chat, and that chat's moving. The more engagement and the more comments you have in your chat during a live stream, the more that YouTube's going to share it out with more people on the replay. One of the things that I'm doing then also after the performance is, and this is something I'm starting to do, I've got to go through all of my live streams and do it, so it's taking a while, because some of my live streams are hours long, but breaking things up into chapters and SEO optimizing those chapters, because those chapters now can show up in search as well. So if you do a little bit of SEO research for each chapter, and you can get each chapter that you set up in your replays to rank in search. So it'll bring people in through looking for those specific things that you talked about during the live stream. But that's usually something you have to do after the fact, because you're not going to know the time markers and all that before you hit live. You can do it on your recorded videos, but you can't really do it on a live stream until after the fact. And usually I wait for it to produce. It takes 2 or 3 days sometimes for StreamYard to produce that live stream, and for YouTube to process live stream and post it. And once that goes through, and I'm starting to do the research and starting to add chapters to my lives. And that's been helpful with that replay value as well. So it's something I'm starting to do for all of my live streams. But it does take some time to go through. When you've got a whole bunch of live streams across multiple channels, it can be time consuming to go and set that up for all your past live streams. Yeah, you gotta wait for people to realize you're live. Put the kitty ear beanie on. That thing is cute. Why haven't you done a short with that? I bet you could do really well with a short with a kitty ear beanie on. It's so cute. And that's one of the things that does really well with shorts, is cute. But yeah, you put it on during your live streams. It would wake people up and get people's attention. What are you doing to put yourself out there, get people's attention during the live stream while you're performing? What are you doing to get people to share your live stream while you're in the middle of the stream? Well, this is why sometimes, I love when I'm doing auctions to have more than one person, because we can get into conversations, we can joke around, we can have some humor going on. It's a lot easier to do that with a second person rather than the delay of waiting on the chat to catch up with where you're at. And it always kind of gets things off when you're waiting on that chat delay. It's not really your niche. Well, wearing a tiara in an auction isn't really my niche either, but it got people's attention, and it was different, and it was something that was out there that people pay attention to, and people remember it. And I only did it a couple of times. A lot of people act like I do it every single auction. I only did it like 2 or 3 times. But people, that's one of the things I'm known for in the community now, is wearing my tiara in an auction, even though I only did it 2 or 3 times. Oh, for a short. Well, it is your niche in that it's, cute, and you can do it while you're cleaning the chicken coop. Doing things that are in your niche, but doing things that grab people's attention while doing something that is on point with your niche. That's one of those keys. That's what I'm talking about here. I was still running an auction with my tiara, which was relevant to my niche, but I did something that was different. You can do the same thing with your shorts. You can still do it that's relevant to your niche. So you're doing your beekeeping, or well, I wouldn't do with your beekeeping because it probably wouldn't fit over the beekeeping suit. But while you're cleaning the chicken coop or cleaning the donkey pens, or doing something with your farmstead stuff, and then all of a sudden you're wearing your beanie. What are you doing to stand out from the competition? Are you doing keyword research? Are you getting out there and optimizing yourself for successful growth? Are you optimizing your content to bring people in beforehand? And then, if, say, you might get something and go on and do your live stream, and then something happens during the live stream that was better topic that came up through your Q&A or whatever than what you originally optimized for. You can always re-optimize on the replay for a different keyword or for something different if something different happened that could engage more people and bring more people in. And use that for your thumbnail, use that for your title. The thumbnails for your YouTube channel, I see a lot of people that are doing like a weekly show and they just use the same thumbnail. Well, people don't pay attention to that thumbnail when they've seen it a million times, and for all they know, they're not reading the thumbnail. A lot of people also try to cram a lot of information, and I've done this myself in the past, on their thumbnails. Your thumbnails, whether it's for an auction or if it's for a live stream or if it's for a video, the thumbnail should honestly be about the same way. The main difference I do with my live streams is I put a little tag in the corner. If you look at my thumbnail for this one, there's a little tag right up here in the corner that says live. And honestly, that's the only thing I do differently for a live stream thumbnail than a normal thumbnail. Everything else is the same. I'm trying to find compelling language that's going to get people to click, that's going to bring people in, that still tells people what this video or what this live stream is going to be about. And that's something that you need to do with your keyword. It needs to be relevant to the stuff, but it doesn't just need to be your title. It doesn't just need to be your keywords. It needs to be compelling language, and it needs to be focused on the end user. If I want to watch this video that I see showing up and I see a thumbnail, does that thumbnail tell me what I'm going to get out of that video? If I've never heard of your channel, you got to realize, again, thinking about growth, thinking about showing up to people that have never heard of you before. If I don't know who you are, if I've never heard of you, and I see that thumbnail, am I going to know what your video and what your channel is about the second I click on it? And remember, your thumbnail does not have to sell the whole video. Your thumbnail does not have to sell the whole video. Your thumbnail needs to sell the click to get them to see the hook. That is the entire purpose of your thumbnail, is to get people to click and watch your hook. That introductory first thing out of your mouth when you first come in is your hook. Your title should be compelling. There's two elements to a proper title for a video or for a live stream. One, it's got to have keyword optimization. It's got to be targeted to keywords that people are searching for. But the second part is it's got to be compelling. It's got to have some kind of an element in there that gets people's attention and that gets people to want to click. Because the whole purpose of the title and the thumbnail is to get people to click and watch your video. That's the entire purpose. You have to get people's attention and get them to click. But then when they into that video, you have to fulfill the promise you made in the title and thumbnail. You can't say, see how I made $15 million in a week on eBay, and you get in there and the video tells them how you made $500 on eBay. That's clickbait. You bait and switch. You told them you promised them one thing, and then they got in, and what you actually gave them was not what they clicked for. That's clickbait. That's what you don't want to do, because that loses people trust, and they're never going to trust your thumbnails again. But if you say, come check this awesome thing I found out, or come see this step-by-step strategy, or, when you're looking at the thumbnail, if you're doing how-to content, what is the end result that they're going to get, or what is their current emotional state? Those are the two things that I focus on with a thumbnail. What is the end result I expect, or what is their current emotional state? The best performing thumbnail by far I have ever done was the one I did for the YouTube terms of service change. And my thumbnail was a picture of the YouTube terms of service, and it said, "Do not panic over this," with a big arrow pointing to the YouTube monetization terms of service change. And I blew that picture up so you could read it. But I said, "Do not panic over this." That thumbnail still is over 10% click-through rate on that thumbnail. The initial performance of it was almost 20% when it first came out. The click-through rate is how many people are viewing that thumbnail and clicking on it. That's your CTR, your click-through rate. And that's one of the important factors that YouTube is going to determine whether they continue sharing that content. If you got a 1 to 5% click-through rate on your thumbnails, that means YouTube's not going to continue showing it to more people because people don't like it. People are not responding to it. But if you got between 5 and 10%, they're going to say, all right, well, some people are interested in it. We'll still keep trying to show it. If you've got over 10%, YouTube says, hey, a lot of people are liking this thumbnail. We're going to keep showing it to more and more people. So the higher you can get that click-through rate up, the more you can get people's attention and get them to click on that thumbnail, the better your video is going to perform in search, in recommended content, in other places where YouTube shows the browse features, where they show it up on your homepage, where they show it up in your subscription feeds. Those are going to show up in those places the higher your click-through rate and your watch time are. And this is true with your live streams. If you've got a really, really compelling thumbnail for your live stream that's going to get people's attention and get people to click to see what your live stream's about, you're going to get more views because you're going to get YouTube showing it to more people. The reason so many people fail with their live streams is because a lot of people are using just a cookie cutter thumbnail for the live streams. And it's the exact same thumbnail. All they did was change up some of the text. Or they're using way too much text, and they're using wild fonts that are hard to read. Remember, 80% of YouTube viewers are viewing on mobile devices. So your thumbnails, every single thumbnail should be legible and readable on a mobile device. And you need as few words as possible to get your message across. I try to shoot for 3 to 5 words, and 5 is a lot, honestly, for a thumbnail. I try to shoot for 3 and at the most 5 words on a thumbnail, and make that text as big as you can. The text portion of a thumbnail should probably be either no text at all, or it should be the biggest thing on the thumbnail. Big, bold, clean lines, easy to read fonts. Those things are what's going to get people's attention. And use effects to help make that text pop off the stage. I just hope my face sells for my face. Well, you can use, I've seen lives that got a lot of clicks with just somebody's face. That's why we use so much, and some people get upset by seeing it overdone. But this is why we do so much exaggerated emotions in our thumbnails, is because it gets people's attention. It gets people to click. So don't just do a picture of you sitting here. Which would make you click more? Something that says me saying, just like that. Or if I was to go, which one's going to get your attention more? And then make sure that the emotion you're displaying, though, connects with the audience on the topic. So if you're doing a topic on don't panic, then I might do a panicked expression. If I'm doing a video on how to overcome a depression, I might do a depressed kind of look. And I usually will do maybe 15, 20, 30 photos for one thumbnail and then pick the one that's the right one. I don't just do one or two pictures and then pick out which one fits it the best. I'll sit there, and if I don't like any of the photos I took, I'll go back and do them again. I sometimes often spend more time producing my thumbnail than I do producing my video. That includes recording the video and editing the video. I will sometimes spend more time on just the thumbnail than the recording and editing of the video itself. The content's important, but if nobody ever sees the content, it don't matter. The content is important. The content is king, but the thumbnail is the queen. The thumbnail is what's going to get people into the content. So if people aren't seeing the content, you can have the absolute best video on YouTube, but if you've only got 20 views on that video, it doesn't matter. You know, getting people to watch, keeping people's attention. The same is true with your live streams. You've got to get people in the door. You got to get people to see it. And they may not happen in the initial live stream. Hello, Nana Tink. Oh, hope you're having a good day. Yeah, it is fun to get right. We get people in the door watching the content, then we have to hook them and keep their attention and keep them going through the live stream. If you're starting that live stream and there's 2 minutes of dead air while you're waiting for people to show up, you've already lost half or 3/4 of your audience before they ever even got an opportunity to know you and to see your video. You have to hit that live stream. As soon as you hit live, you're talking to the camera. You're telling people what your video is about. You're dropping that value proposition all within the first 1 minute of hitting live. You should hook people, telling them what content they can expect to get today, and 2, drop your value proposition for what your channel is about. That's the number one thing. If you're getting value out of this, if you're watching this on the replay, again, make sure you click subscribe. If you know somebody that could potentially use it, if you know people that are wanting to start live streaming but they don't know how to structure their live streams, share this video out with them. We try to help as many people as we can. My surprise face. It also depends. You have to understand the content you're going to create today. Again, this is where the planning, we're talking about lives in general across all videos, but today we're talking specifically about live streams. And I see a lot of videos, a lot of live streams that they just use the exact same thumbnail and all they do is change some of the text for their live streams. And this is hurting the replay of their live streams, and it's hurting the initial people coming in because they're like, oh, wait a minute. I've already been to that live stream because I already saw that thumbnail. So people, you will actually lose viewers before they ever click. But then once you get their attention, bring them into the live, then you've got to keep their attention by hooking them into what you're talking about and continue reiterating that hook throughout the live stream, because you're going to have people coming in the middle of the live stream. You're going to have people that are going to come in 10 minutes late. You're going to have people come in 45 minutes late. If you're doing a 12-hour long live stream, you've got to continually throughout that 12 hours telling people. I don't recommend doing a 12-hour live stream for everybody, but it was a lot of fun. But you got to keep getting people's attention, keeping people's attention as long as you can, as many as you can. I've got 4 or 5 people watching the live stream here right now, and that's great. But I'm hoping that this live stream is going to get more on the replay. I didn't expect to get a big crowd because I'm a small channel. I didn't expect to have a huge percentage of my audience coming into this live stream because I usually don't. But I'm getting some decent replay value out of these live streams, and I'm getting people that are watching for 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours on the replays on these live streams. That's why I structure them the way I do. So you have to keep that conversation moving, keep it rolling. So we're going to take a look at the chat. That would be fun. Something different to do for a day. I like it. Issue is finding the time to do it. I guess you just have to make that time. Yeah. It's also one of the things I always tell people, you also have to understand a lot of what I talk about and teach about YouTube growth is dependent on what are your goals on YouTube. You have to know what are your goals as a content creator. What are your purpose for doing content on YouTube? I know people that just use YouTube as a place to hang out with friends, and they don't grow a following on their channel. And they don't care if they ever grow a following on your channel. And if that's what you want, then that's perfectly fine. But if you want to grow your channel, if you want to use YouTube as a way to grow your business, um, or if you want to use YouTube as a way to teach people or to connect with more people and you want to grow that audience, you want to have an influence or build an impact on your niche or on the world as a whole, then yeah, my internet connection could be going in and out. It's probably on my end. And right now it's saying I have a stable internet, but it goes up and down, especially during this time of day. So there's not a whole lot I can do about that. We've got the best connection speed that they would give us. So I just do the best I can with it because I do also it shares. I don't have a dedicated internet line, so it's basically sharing my internet service with other people around me, and if there's too many other people online at the same time, it slows us down. We are in a small town in Texas, and we don't have the best internet service available here in this little bitty town. So yeah, there's a lot of people off on Fridays. There's a lot of people that are home right now in our area. Our area has been hit very severely recently with an outbreak, and there's a lot of people voluntarily staying home right now, even though the government hasn't mandated it yet. I think it's coming very, very soon. But there's a lot of people staying home from work and not going out and not doing things. So there's a lot more people getting on the internet and bumming around. So that affects our live streams significantly in that it's going to affect our quality of our streams as more people are watching at this time of day. And it is what it is. We'll just deal with it. That's something else you have to think about is technical things going on. One of the things that we had happen during our 12-hour live stream was I lost internet connection for a while. And so we wound up having to reboot the whole live stream. Well, if you have guests on during your live stream, if you're doing like interviews or you're doing, having guests on, they'll keep that live stream open as long as they're still in the stream. But as soon as everybody's gone, after a certain amount of time, StreamYard will shut down the stream and turn it off if there's nobody in there. Hello, Susanna. Good morning. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. That's actually what happened during my live stream on Saturday was Jessica was talking to the company about doing that, and they rebooted my internet in the middle of my live stream when they were upping our internet speed. So that's one of the things that you have to look at. And Adrian, I know you're going to be doing that interview here in just a few minutes because it's almost that time. If you want to drop the link to that in the chat, you are more than welcome to. Adrian's fixing to be doing a live stream with another channel talking about YouTube Shorts and YouTube growth, and so she's exploded in the last few months. Yeah, it's in about 30 minutes, but I'm just letting you know whenever it's time. If you want to drop that link in the chat, you're more than welcome to. So, one of the things that we've been talking about is the structure of your live streams. And so that structure of having a presentation and then you go into your Q&A and you hang out with your chat can be very powerful, and it can do a lot to get you replay. The longer you keep that structured portion, if you can make it, and I think it's a percentage of your live stream. If you can do it at least 25 to 30% of your live stream has that structured portion, and then you can go into Q&A and hang out as long as you want to, but try to keep it to where 25 to 30% at least, which is at least a quarter of your set, has that structure to it. It's going to do a lot to help you on the replay value and getting new people that don't know you. Remember, if you're only talking to the same audience you've always talked to, you're not growing. You want to talk to your same audience, and we've done live streams that's all they were, was it was just about my existing audience. Again, this is part of going back to the plan. I know that before I ever do it. And so the way I structure things that are just for my existing audience are different than the way I structure things that I'm trying to get replay value out of. Again, this comes back to understanding the goals of your particular video. I talk about, I was just mentioning earlier, it depends on your goals for YouTube in general, but you also should have goals for every single piece of content you put out. You should have goals for, this is what I wish to accomplish with this content. And you should know what those goals are before you ever record, before you ever go live. You need to know, what are my goals for this live? What are the goals for me? And what are the goals for my viewers? I hope you're able to take this and add some more structure to your live streams. Have an outline of, this is what we're going to talk about in our live streams. We have outline portion 1, we're going to teach, and this is the topic we're going to teach, and these are the bullet points we're going to cover. One of the things I had in my outline for today was my 5-step strategy for planning and structuring a live stream. And that's one of the things that I'm going through. And that's why I'm talking about these points. And I'm going back and forth because they cross-reference each other all the time. But that's one of the key elements of a well-structured live stream, is having that plan, having that outline of what you're going to talk about, practicing what you're going to talk about before you get there. Don't just show up and hit live and expect it to go well. It usually doesn't. Now, sometimes you can know your topic well enough that you can carry a conversation for an hour, 2-3 hours, and that's great. But not every live stream should be that way. You should have some kind of a plan when you hit live, because it's going to flow a lot easier, and you're going to get a lot better replay value from other people after the live stream. If you want that replay value, if you want to build your channel, if you want something that's going to show up in search and that's going to become a piece of evergreen content. Part of the reason why I'm not going so much into the step-by-step how to set up a live stream and the technical aspects of a live stream is because I want this to have evergreen replay value and be more of a piece of evergreen content that's going to be available. If somebody watches this in 2 or 3 years, it's still going to be relevant, because this structure and this way of doing things, I learned this 10 years ago and it's still relevant today. I taught people the same strategy, basically. There's a few tweaks due to the technological changes, but I taught the same basic structure to people doing blog posts when we were doing blogging 10 years ago. And the same thing is true with your YouTube content. You want to structure it in a way that's going to get people's attention. You want to have a plan in place. Then your performance. How are you presenting yourself? What are you doing to get and keep people's attention throughout your live stream? Are you staying on topic, or are you going off topic a lot? I've had times, this is one of the things, when you have that structure in place, you're much more able to stay on topic. And sometimes you have to kind of shut out the chat. I love you guys. But sometimes when you're doing the presentation phase, you have to kind of shut out the chat while you're doing your presentation to keep yourself on topic. Yeah, you don't want to over plan, but you want to plan enough. It's a balance. That is a huge point. If you over plan, there's a lot of people that get so stuck on planning that they never take action. They never move forward. They never perform. You have to have balance. You have to have all of them. You want to plan. You want to practice. You want to perform. You have to get to that second step and the third step. You have to do the performance or it doesn't work. Once you perform, then you process it. When I mean processing, for a recorded video, it's the editing, but then part of it too is you might want to go back, and this is something I do. I go back and I rewatch my live streams 2 or 3 days later, and I break down the things that I did wrong. I will actually sit there and count how many times did I actually look at the camera, because that's something I've talked about before. It's something I'm working on actively, is trying to remind myself to look up here at the camera instead of looking down at the screen or looking over at the chat or looking over here or looking over there. I'm trying to train myself to look more at the camera while I'm doing these presentations. And I'm better now than I used to be, but I still got a long way to go. And I know that. But that's one of the things I do. I watch the replays on my live streams to see how many times did I look at the camera versus how much of the time was I looking away. And I'm usually disappointed in what I see, but it's keeping in my mind to remind me to look at that camera. I've got a big sticky note right here that says, look here, on my camera. And the reason I did that is just to remind me to draw my eyes there instead of looking down at me on the monitor, which I do quite frequently because, I'm just so sexy. I like to look at myself. Hello, Alexis. We love you too. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for coming by. Again, it depends. Having those clear goals for each piece of content you're going to put out. You can just do live hangouts. I know a lot of you in the reselling community do just live hangouts. We're just going to hang out with the audience. Again, that's about building the relationship with your audience. You just have to know from the start, it's not going to do anything to build your audience. It's going to build the relationship you have with your existing audience. And you can do live streams for that. I did a live stream one time. We were actually on somebody else's channel, and the host got really exhausted. And so they decided to go to bed. It was like 1:30 in the morning. But everybody in the chat wanted to keep the conversation going. So I said, give me 2 or 3 minutes. Come over to my channel. We'll keep the conversation going over there. And so we did. So we moved, and I had a random live stream at 1:30 in the morning on my channel. Some people in my audience that weren't at the other channel got the notification I was live, and they were up. And so they came in. We had one of the best live streams I've ever had on my channel. We had a great conversation. We had some people from the audience came up on the panel, and we just had a conversation. And because of that, it wound up being great. But it didn't have much replay value because it didn't have that structure. Because it was about building the relationship with the audience. It wasn't about getting replay value. Yes, I'm on live. All right. Wifely interruptions. So that's one of the things. Once you get through it, then you go back and you watch the replay. And you want to watch the replay not just because you like watching yourself, but because you want to pay attention. How many times did you go off topic? How many times did you pull away? And then you go, and I wait for it to process a few days, and then you can see that audience retention report, and then you can go through and watch that live with your audience retention report, and you can see what points did you lose people, at what points did you get the most engagement. One of the things you can do now with YouTube is in your analytics on a live stream, you can actually see the chat. What points did you get the most engagement with your chat through the live stream? At what points did you lose the most people in your chat through the live stream? And you can look at where you're losing people on the live, And you can look separately at where you lost people on replay. And that's a huge distinction when you're trying to understand your analytics and understanding, how your audience is reacting to what you're doing, looking into those analytics and seeing afterwards how people responded. Did you get the response you expected? Did you get the response you wanted? Those are going to help you adjust your structure next time, because every audience is different. You've got to have a structure. The reason I'm not telling you exactly what your structure should be, my structure is different here than it is on the Storage Scavenger. And it is different here than it is on my Mindset and Spirituality channel, because the structure is going to be dependent on the audience, and it's going to change dependent on your audience. So those are the kind of 5 key aspects to building more structure into your stream. One, you want to start off with a plan, have those keywords in mind before you ever begin your live stream. Know exactly what you're going to try to target, what you're going to use to try to rank in search, to rank in recommended content, and get people seeing your videos. Number 2, you want to practice what you're going to do. You want to plan, practice, perform it very well. Have your processing, your analysis. And then the 5th and final thing is moving forward. What are you going to do for the next video? Start using what are the key elements that I want to change, or what are the key elements from this one that worked really well that I want to make sure we include in the next one. That's going to help you continue the process. It's going to help you create more engagement when your viewers start seeing that structure. When your viewers start getting used to that structure, they can tell you exactly what's going to happen next in your live stream because they've found that structure before. They know, hey, we've been on for 22 minutes. We know they're fixing to do this. And so they are prepared for it. And when you don't do it, then they're like, hey, you forgot to do this part of the live stream. Oh, yeah. So that's one of the things you want to do. You want to keep people engaged. You want to get people to where they know the structure of your live stream. You want your mods to kind of know. This is the other thing. One of the key elements to a really good live stream is having a good set of moderators in your live stream. And not everybody on your live stream should be a moderator. That's a whole different topic for another day. But you want a good set of mods. You want at least 2 or 3 people that can help manage the chat. And the more you grow, for every 100 to 200 viewers on a live stream, you need at least 2 mods in the live. And then as you grow, as you get bigger, you need to add more and more mods to your channel as you have more people coming to your live streams. But 2 or 3 is usually pretty good to start with. I don't recommend having everybody having a wrench, because you're not only giving them authority on your channel, on your live streams, you're giving them authority on your channel as a whole. And I have seen it happen on my own channels. I've seen it happen on friends' channels where people are being banned and deleted by people who are abusing their wrenches. You might go into your blocked user list and see who shows up in there that shouldn't be, because there's a lot of people that are going in and blocking people that they don't like on channels. And that's not nice. It's not right. It's not fair. You need to decide what you're going to allow on your channel and what you're not going to allow. I mean, it's up to you how you run your channels. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm telling you my opinion. But this is why not everybody gets wrenches on my channels, and they won't. I have a certain number of mods on my channels, and that's all we're going to have. And those wrenches give people power outside of your live stream. I have mods. My mods do several things. One, they manage the chat. They help keep disruptive language out of the chat. They keep negativity out of the chat. 2, especially during my auctions, I have a mod a lot of times that is dropping the information about the lots that are coming up. They help call the auction lots. Whenever we're doing just general chats, they help drop links for me. So if I'm talking about another website, if I'm talking about a tool that I use, they have those links and I can drop those links in the chat. If I have, something that is uh another channel that I'm talking about, they can drop the links to that other channel. If I tell the mods to drop a link, then they will drop a link. But I also have trained my mods here to not just randomly drop links. We don't just randomly drop links to everybody's channels intentionally. Um, it's intentional in how we do that, and I've talked about that in other live streams. Uh, we don't want this to just be a link fest, a link spam fest. Your mods are there to help moderate, to keep control, to keep people from getting out of line with the conversations. We have a very strict be nice policy. I don't have a problem with uh, differing opinions. I do have a problem with people being rude. I have a problem with people coming into my lives and trash talking other people who ask questions that may to them seem obvious. You don't trash other people, especially in this space, because I have a lot of people who have never done a single thing on YouTube. I have people that come to these videos that don't know anything about YouTube, and I don't want them to be pushed away by people who are coming in and acting like, well, this is just common sense. Everybody should know. You got to remember, common sense is only common sense because you know the information. If they're brand new and they're coming into this, they don't know that yet. And I get, since a part of my target audience is new people, I want to keep it clean. I want to keep it nice and on point, and I want to keep it to where those people feel welcome and that people feel safe to ask any question that they have, no matter how stupid or simple it might sound. Um, because the path to knowledge is in questions. And if you're not asking because you're afraid to ask, because people are rude to people that ask, which I see in a lot of chats, especially a lot of chats that have, no moderation to them. I see people that are asking questions and being degraded and rushed out of the chat because they asked a important question sometimes that somebody new won't know coming into it. I try to keep it from being that way here, Chuck. But I've seen it happen in other chats. And I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not going to say who, but I've seen it happen in other chats. I've seen it happen in the reselling community. I've seen it happen in the YouTube space because some people are just freaking rude and ugly, and especially to people that don't know any better. I try to be open to anybody that's new. And it doesn't matter. I have people that come in that learn from my streams that have 10 times, 20 times more followers than I have. And they still come into my streams and ask questions. And sometimes I'm like, how did you get that big with not knowing the answer to that? But it happens. And, sometimes I have to step back and say, you know what? You don't know what you don't know. But, I know people that are bigger than me that don't know some of the stuff I know. At the same time, I know a lot of people that are smaller than me that have figured out things I haven't figured out yet. So, we have to be open to other people's questions, and we have to be open to, and especially if I'm in a space of teaching people how to get started and how to do these things, I have to be open to understanding the questions people have. And I want to see those showing up in my time. I also have people that moderate. I have one moderator that doesn't come to my live streams, but he helps me moderate the comments in my channel. He helps me to moderate spam and keep those sex bots and all that crap out of my chat, out of my comment section. And that's what he does for me. So he has a wrench, even though he's not hardly ever on my live streams. He helps me moderate that way. So moderators do a lot. If you want to really know, my friend Doug Houston YT, that's his channel name, Doug Houston YT. He actually has an entire playlist on YouTube moderation. Yeah, and it's for channel owners and moderators, and it's teaching how to run good moderation on your channel. He's got an entire playlist over there. And it's really great stuff. I recommend anybody that wants to understand how moderation works on YouTube, they should check that playlist out. You thought those were two different things. Are you talking about moderating? Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing Doug's link. That's what I'm talking about. That's one of the things moderators do for us. They drop those links when we talk about something that randomly came up that we didn't have prepared ahead of time. Really good moderators have those links ready at all times. Hi, Donna. Yeah, we're live. We're actually going to be wrapping it up very soon. Adrian has another live she's got to go to. I've got some things. Jessica wants to go run some errands, and she thinks I need to drive her around. So I've got to have to go for that. But if anybody has any questions, we're going to wrap this up here in a few minutes. If you have any questions about how to structure your live stream, make sure you're putting those questions down. I am trying to keep up with the chat. I'm not moving super fast. But if you have any questions about how to structure your live streams, how to plan your live streams, how to set things up for success with your live streams, make sure you're leaving those questions down in the chat. I am going to bring something up real quick. And let me go to my playlist. Copy link. Let me get back over to my chat. And right here, so if you want to start, if you haven't started live streaming, here is my step-by-step guide. It's a 3-video series. I'll walk you step-by-step through how to set up a live stream on StreamYard. And in one of those videos, I even went through and I broke down the free and the paid features of StreamYard. I used the free version for almost 9 months of StreamYard, and I was perfectly fine with it. I finally grew to a point I was doing so many streams, I was running out of hours, and there was other features that were locked behind the paid version that I wanted, like being able to do my intro clips and being able to put my own branding on there and take StreamYard's branding off. So I eventually upgraded, but you can start streaming for free right now with a very simple, and I have step-by-step how to set it up and how to start that stream. There is an affiliate link. If you do want to get the paid version, there is an affiliate link in the description of those videos to StreamYard that we would get a small commission if you were to purchase StreamYard paid through that link. But it's a good step-by-step tutorial. One of the first things I did on this channel was a step-by-step tutorial on StreamYard and how to set it up, how to run your streams, all the technical behind the scenes stuff. I need to update some of it. They have been adding some new features, and so I'm going to be doing some more videos with those new features that they've added in the last few weeks. But it's still, everything in there is still relevant. It's just they've added more to it. But y'all are having a great day. Do you use tags in your videos? That is a good question, Donna. Yes, they help with contextual relevance. When we're doing search, you have a keyword phrase that you're optimizing for, but tags can help YouTube understand the context to how it sets up. So you might want to use tags that are your keyword specific, but it's also tags or something that help YouTube get context of what your video is about. So, for example, if I'm targeting how to use StreamYard, I also have tags in there that are about how to start live streaming, live streaming guide, step-by-step live streaming tutorial, things like that. They need to still be highly relevant to the content or they are ignored. The other thing is usually, this is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Tags are more important after you're monetized than they are before you're monetized. And the reason why is advertisers. When advertisers are bidding, the way YouTube determines what ads to show on your video is relevance of your tags. So your tags become more relevant to advertisers than they are to YouTube search. They're highly relevant to determining what your CPM for your ads, your cost per mil on your ads is going to be based on the tags you have in your videos. And YouTube has their own tagging system. So once your video is up there, if you don't use tags, they will tag it themselves and figure it out for themselves. But if you put those tags in there, it helps them figure it out easier. But they're still going to use their own tagging system because they may determine that the relevance is different. And there's a lot of people that abuse the tagging system. So they might have something that has nothing to do with financial planning, but they're going to stuff a bunch of financial planning tags in there because they get a high CPM. So YouTube actually has this algorithm that can read your video, watch your video, see what you say in your video, and determine whether or not those tags are relevant to those tags. And they will discount the tags that they deem irrelevant. Because there's people that keyword stuff, because there's people that think that that's a good strategy. And as much as we tell people not to, it's something that's been happening as long as the internet has existed, and it will continue happening in the future. But that's part of why they're considered irrelevant by some people, is because of people keyword stuffing. Do I have a step-by-step on how to fix it up after you upgrade? I'm guessing you're talking about like how to add the custom features and that stuff. I haven't done that yet, but I will. I can do that. I can put that in my video plan, and we will do some videos on how to upload a video to StreamYard, how to add your own custom stuff. I use for my templates, for example, if I take my custom background, then I go to my brand tab and I have an overlay like that shows up. I can also do that and put my own logo up there. And I can do some videos on how to do that. These templates, actually, one of my teachers in this YouTube space is D. Nimmin, and he created a whole set of these templates. He's got a whole bunch of different ones that you can use for these overlays, backgrounds. You can even do, I can't bring it up and show it, but I have different ones set up for if I have guests on. These overlays are all kind of themed, so I can have 2 guests. I have one that's set up for 3 guests. I have one that's set up for 5 guests. I have one for set up for if I'm a screen share, and it puts me on the side. So these kind of overlays, he has a whole set. It's called streamertemplates.com, and you can see those. He's got a couple of them that are free, and he has step-by-step video tutorials on how to customize them and use them with StreamYard. So that's one of the things that I use to customize my own streams. But I don't have necessarily a step-by-step tutorial yet on how to do everything else. But I will get those recorded and put up on my channel. That's why I like doing the live streams and getting the questions. A lot of the videos we put out come from the questions that people ask me during the live streams, and come from the questions people ask me on other people's live streams. That's why I love live streams. Because it gives us a chance to talk to the audience and find out what people are having problems with. So, all right. If there's no other questions, I don't see anything else coming up in the chat. If there's no other questions, we are going to go. It's been almost an hour and a half. For those of y'all that came in late, make sure you go back and watch the replay, because I dropped some really good stuff in there that's going to help you understand how to get started and how to build your live streams from the beginning. how to start your live streams properly so that you don't lose people before they even get a chance to see it, and how to structure things throughout before your stream, during your stream, and after your stream. So those are some really great points that are going to help you add more structure to your stream, keep people more engaged, and get started. The number one thing you can do if you want to start is just hit live. Just get out there and do it. Fix these structure issues as you go. I started live streaming. I didn't have any of this in place. I just started going live and just chatting with people and talking to people. That's the number one thing. Just put yourself out there. When I first started my first live stream, I was on going on streams with other people, and I would sit there and I wouldn't talk. The reason I'm able to sit here and talk to you for 2 hours about this kind of stuff is because I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it, and I've practiced, and I'm still not perfect. That's why I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I learn every single live stream I do. I learn new things. But just hit live. Just get out there. It's one of the best ways to create content. It's my favorite way to create content. I would honestly, I considered when I started this channel just doing everything live stream. I didn't do it that way. I started doing recorded videos, but I've thought about it, and I still may. I'm still might make a switch and just do live streams because I enjoy live streaming. I love getting in here. I love the opportunity to interact with the audience. And yeah, nobody's perfect. If you're perfect, would be boring. See, my mistakes give people something to talk about. And sometimes, especially like in this space, when I make a mistake and I can fix my mistake as I go, I can show other people how to overcome that mistake themselves. And I've done it before. I've kicked myself out of a live stream a few weeks ago. I was in the middle of my live stream, hit the wrong button, and kicked myself out of my own live stream. And it happens. Things happen. I've seen people who's, using their camera to stream, and the battery on the camera died in the middle of the stream. So, we have live technical errors that happen all the time. And, just being able to overcome that stuff and keep being able to move forward. I have a very simple live stream setup. All I have is a simple Logitech C920 webcam. Microphone here is an Audio Technica ATR 2100. There are links to all of the gear in every video. And I just got a couple of umbrella lights. Every piece of gear I have individually, I bought it over time. I didn't buy all of it at once. But I also, every single piece of gear I have under $100 a piece. Not all of it under $100, but under $100 a piece. I think the microphone was like $60. The webcam was like 60 or 70. The lighting kit was honestly the most expensive. It was like 90. But every single thing that I have in my studio, one, I built it up over time. Two, under $100 for each individual piece. So you can do it on a tight budget, and you can build it up as you go. And you just keep adding. I think the most important thing, especially if you're going to live stream, get you a USB and XLR compatible microphone. Because if you later on add a soundboard, which gives you more control over your sound quality, you can use the same microphone and just switch it over to the new setup. I have a soundboard. I just don't have it set up right now. I'm still working out some technical issues with how it works on StreamYard, especially when I'm on with other people. But I like the soundboard. I like the sound quality when I get it tuned in and dialed in. I think it's better than just my USB sound. But the USB sound sounds pretty good on this particular microphone. It's not the lowest end mic. There's some that are cheaper than this one. There's some that are like $20. But the lower you go on the price point, the worse the sound quality and the ability and the controls you get. This one is kind of the mid low end. It's between the under $100 microphone. This is one of the best ones for under $100 I've found. As far as the quality of the mic is good. A lot of podcasters use it when they're starting out. and then I will upgrade as I go. After I'm monetized, after I'm get out to where it can pay for itself, we'll upgrade the gear as we go. But you don't need anything super fancy. You don't need a whole lot of fancy gear. My backdrop, we just built this new backdrop. Those of you who've been watching for a while know it used to be wood paneling behind me. All that is a king size bed sheet and a string of Christmas lights. That whole backdrop took me a couple hours to set it up, and it's like less than $20 for the whole thing. And I'm still working on it. I'm still working on setting up my backdrop the way I want it. I'm probably gonna add some more stuff to it. But that made a huge change in how my live streams look, just changing my background, just changing that sheet behind me. All it is a bed sheet. So you don't have to have anything super fancy, super expensive to get started. The nicer ones, you get more controls. The nicer stuff you get. Hello, Lewis. Thanks for joining us. We're actually just wrapping things up. But just get started with what you have. If you have a cell phone, you can use your cell phone as a webcam. There's software out there that can link to your computer to use it as a webcam. You can use StreamYard, even if you're under 1,000 subscribers. I know YouTube says you can't go live directly through the YouTube studio on a mobile device until you have 1,000 subscribers, but you can go live on a mobile device using StreamYard. So if you're mobile, you can use StreamYard. You can still go live, but just get out there and get yourself in front of the audience and get yourself, be willing to get out there and just be willing to fail and be willing to learn and be willing to grow. And you can start live streaming. Like I said, it's my favorite form of content creation. So I hope you guys have had a great day. For those of y'all that just came in here at the end, make sure you go back and watch the replay and see what all we talked about today. We covered some really, really fun stuff. We talked about how to structure your live stream so you can get better replay value, as well as keeping people engaged during the stream. So make sure you go back and check out the replay. If you are new here, you made it all the way through to the end, make sure you click the subscribe button and share this with a friend that may be wanting to start live streaming themselves. Have a great day. We will see you next time. Peace.